8 tricks to never get angry again. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Separate your emotions from other people's actions. Let's start with a foundational truth that your brain loves to ignore. Other people's actions are almost never about you. When someone cuts you off in traffic, their internal monologue isn't, there's Susan. I've been waiting all day to mildly inconvenience her commute. No, they're probably late for a meeting, distracted by a podcast, or in the middle of a messy breakup via text. Their world, with all its dramas and urgencies, has just briefly and rudely collided with yours. Their action is a symptom of their life, not a verdict on yours. This cognitive bias, where we assume someone's behavior is a direct result of their personality rather than their situation, is called the fundamental attribution error. We see a grumpy cashier and think, what a miserable person, instead of considering they might have a sick kid at home or are working their third double shift. Your brain is a storyteller, and it loves to cast you as the main character. So when something bad happens, it naturally assumes the event is about you, but you're just an extra in the movie of everyone else's life. Recognizing this is incredibly liberating. It's emotional armor. The next time your boss sends a curt email, instead of spiraling into what did I do wrong, take a breath and consider the 100 other possibilities. Maybe their coffee was cold, their own boss just yelled at them, or they're just bad at emails. You don't have to absorb their negative energy. Let it fly right by you like a poorly thrown frisbee. Their actions belong to them. Your reaction is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Number 2, most things aren't worth your anger. Think back to the last time you were genuinely, red-faced, steam coming out of your ears angry. What was it? Someone used the last of the milk? The Wi-Fi decided to take an unscheduled nap during a critical moment. A stranger on the internet disagreed with your impeccable opinion on pineapple on pizza. Now ask yourself a serious question. In the grand cosmic scheme of things, how much did it really matter? I'm willing to bet the answer is not at all. Your brain has a flair for the dramatic. The amygdala, your brain's ancient alarm system, can't always tell the difference between a legitimate threat, a bear, and a modern annoyance, a pop-up ad. It screams danger and floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, preparing you for a fight that isn't coming. It's your prefrontal cortex, the logical, grown-up part of your brain, that's supposed to step in and say, easy there, tiger. It's just a typo in an email. We don't need to flip a desk. The vast majority, let's say 90% of the things that trigger your anger are just life's little irritations. They are temporary, insignificant blips on the radar of your existence. Getting furious over them is like using a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito. It's a massive waste of energy that makes a huge mess and doesn't solve the actual problem. Learning to distinguish between the bears and the mosquitoes is key. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years? If the answer is no, then it's not worth sacrificing your peace of mind over it right now. Number 3, control your reaction, not the situation. Here's a hard pill to swallow. You have virtually no control over the outside world. You can't control the traffic, the stock market, the weather, or what your weird cousin decides to post on social media. Trying to manage every external event is a full-time, soul-crushing job with zero pay and guaranteed failure. It's like trying to herd cats in a thunderstorm. So, what can you control? The one thing that truly matters, your response. This concept is the bedrock of many psychological and philosophical schools of thought, from ancient Stoicism to modern cognitive behavioral therapy. It's about shifting your locus of control from external to internal. An external locus of control makes you a victim of circumstance. You believe life happens to you. The traffic made me late. My boss made me angry. An internal locus of control, however, makes you the pilot of your own experience. I didn't plan for traffic, so I was late, and I chose to feel angry about what my boss said. See the difference? One is helpless, the other is empowered. Think of it like being the captain of a ship. You can't control the ocean, the wind, or the sudden appearance of a kraken. The sea will do what it wants, but you can control the rudder, you can adjust the sails, you can decide whether to steer into the storm or navigate around it. The external situation, the raging sea, is just a set of conditions. Your reaction, how you steer the ship, determines whether you capsize or reach your destination. Stop trying to calm the storm. It's a waste of energy. Just focus on steering your ship. Number 4, practice the 3-second pause. Your anger has a trigger and your brain responds with lightning speed. Someone cuts in line and bam, you're instantly filled with righteous fury. This is your amygdala, the primitive part of your brain, hijacking the controls before your rational mind even has time to boot up. It's a biological relic from a time when a quick, emotional reaction could save you from being a predator's lunch. Today, however, it's more likely to make you yell at a teenager working a minimum wage job. This is where the 3-second pause becomes your secret weapon. When you feel that familiar hot flush of anger rising, stop, do nothing, just breathe. In for 1, out for 1, in for 2, out for 2, in for 3, out for 3. This isn't some mystical chant, it's a neurological hack. That tiny 3-second delay is just enough time for the electrical signals in your brain to travel from the reactive amygdala to the thoughtful prefrontal cortex. You are literally giving the rational, problem-solving part of your brain a chance to catch up and intervene. It's the difference between an unconscious reaction and a conscious response. This pause creates a crucial space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your power to choose. Without it, you're just a puppet pulled by emotional strings. With it, you're in control. Imagine you receive a passive-aggressive email from a coworker. Your knee-jerk reaction is to fire back a sarcastic reply that will escalate the situation into an all-out war. But you pause. You breathe for 3 seconds. In that gap, your logical brain logs on and suggests, or we could just walk over and ask them what they meant, or ignore it, or just reply with, thanks. The pause won't magically solve the problem, but it will almost always prevent you from making it a whole lot worse. Number 5, reframe the situation. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. It takes a raw event and instantly slaps a story onto it. The story you choose dictates the emotion you feel. The event itself is neutral. Your interpretation is what injects the anger. This is the core insight of cognitive reframing, a powerhouse technique from therapy that you can use in your daily life. It's about consciously choosing a different, less anger-inducing story for the same set of facts. Let's say you're in a meeting and a colleague publicly criticizes your idea. Frame 1, the default. They're trying to humiliate me. They want my job. This is a deliberate attack on my intelligence. This narrative path leads directly to a bubbling volcano of resentment that will ruin your entire day and possibly your week. Frame 2, the reframe. Wow, they must be feeling really insecure to need to put someone else down like that. Or, they're passionate about their own idea and are just bad at expressing it constructively. Or even, maybe there's a kernel of truth in what they said that I can learn from, even if the delivery was terrible. Notice how none of these reframes change the external event. The criticism still happened, but by changing the story you tell yourself about it, you wrench the emotional steering wheel away from anger and toward empathy, curiosity, or even detached amusement. You are no longer the victim of an attack. You are an observer of someone else's flawed behavior. It's not about being naive or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing the interpretation that best serves your own peace of mind. Number 6, lower your expectations of others. Here is a simple equation that governs a huge portion of your emotional life. Disappointment equals reality expectations. If you expect everyone to be thoughtful, punctual, logical, and selfless all the time, you are setting your expectation variable so high that reality will almost never measure up. The result is a constant state of disappointment, which is a breeding ground for anger and resentment. You are essentially pre-ordering a lifetime supply of frustration. Expecting perfection from imperfect beings is a losing game. People will be late. They will forget things. They will make selfish choices. They will say dumb things. Your partner will occasionally forget to take out the trash, not because they don't love you, but because they are a fallible human being whose brain was occupied with something else. Your friends will sometimes be too wrapped up in their own drama to be a perfect listener. This isn't a cynical worldview, it's a pragmatic one. It's about accepting human nature in all its messy glory. This doesn't mean you should have no standards or allow people to treat you poorly. The key is to distinguish between a standard and an expectation. A standard is about how you will allow yourself to be treated. I will not be in a relationship with someone who lies to me. An expectation is a rigid prediction of how others should behave. My partner should know what I want without me having to say it. Hold firm to your standards, but release your grip on your rigid expectations. When you stop expecting people to be flawless, you'll be amazed at how much harder it is for them to disappoint you. Number 7, build a low-stress lifestyle. Your ability to remain calm isn't just a mental game, it's deeply rooted in your physical well-being. Think of your body as the hardware and your mind as the software. If the hardware is glitchy and running on low power, you can't expect the software to perform smoothly. You are infinitely more likely to snap at a minor inconvenience when you're sleep-deprived, hangry, or over-caffeinated. Your physical state sets your emotional baseline for the day. When you don't get enough sleep, the connection between your rational prefrontal cortex and your emotional amygdala weakens. Essentially, the adult supervisor in your brain gets groggy and lets the screaming toddler run the show. Similarly, when your blood sugar is low because you skipped a meal, your brain lacks the fuel it needs for self-control. Self-regulation requires a significant amount of energy, and a poorly maintained body simply doesn't have the resources to spare. The stress hormone cortisol also plays a huge role. A lifestyle filled with stress, poor sleep, and bad nutrition keeps your cortisol levels chronically high, leaving you in a constant low-grade state of fight or flight. Your anger trigger becomes a hair trigger. This is the least glamorous trick on the list, but it might be the most effective. You can't biohack your way to tranquility if you're ignoring the fundamentals. Prioritizing sleep, eating decent food, staying hydrated, and getting some form of movement aren't just healthy habits, they are non-negotiable maintenance for your emotional regulation machinery. Trying to be patient and calm when you're exhausted and hungry is like trying to run a marathon with the flu. You're setting yourself up to fail before the day has even begun. Number 8. Practice Stoicism daily. This final trick is a mindset shift that underpins all the others. It's a core tenet of Stoic philosophy, best summarized by the philosopher Epictetus. People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. This means that nothing and no one outside of you has the inherent power to make you angry. An event happens, a person says something, these are external facts. Your anger is generated internally by the judgment you attach to that fact. It's a fire you start in your own mind. Think of it this way, an insult is just a collection of sound waves. It only becomes hurtful when you receive it, internalize it, and agree with its premise on some level. Someone is essentially trying to hand you a package of their own negativity. You are under no obligation to accept it. You can simply refuse delivery. When someone says something provocative, you can mentally tell yourself, that is their opinion. It is a reflection of their character, not mine. I do not need to accept this package. This requires daily practice. It's a mental muscle you have to build. Start your day by reminding yourself of this principle. No one can hurt me unless I allow them to. My inner peace is my responsibility. When you find yourself in a frustrating situation, repeat it. This isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about understanding its source. You reclaim your power by realizing that you are the sole gatekeeper of your emotional state. People can't push your buttons if you've disconnected the wiring. They can press all they want, but nothing will happen. You have achieved true emotional freedom. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.